For sure.
Now, Mary Jane, as we finish up section 138, I think it would be really helpful for context. Why is it section 138?
Well, I think the question is, why did it take them so long to include these scriptures? You have Joseph F. Smith in that October conference say, I haven't lived alone for months, and I received this vision, and it is read by his son to the Quorum of the 12, the church patriarch, the presiding bishopric, and they accept it and say, yeah, this is scripture. And then you have it published in everything that they possibly could publish it in. It's in the Desert News, it's in the Millennial Star, it's in the Relief Society magazine, it's in the Juvenile Instructor, it is everywhere. And then it kind of disappears.
And people forget about it, and they don't quote from it.
They don't quote it from it at all. You have slight mentionings. You have Bishop Worthland, the presiding bishop, talk about in 1945, which is interesting, World War II. Mm-hmm. But then you don't have anything until 1975. And all of a sudden, Boyd K. Packer, in General Conference, starts referring to it, and not only referring to it, quoting some of it. So why didn't they canonize it in 1918? And why didn't they canonize Joseph Smith's Vision of the Celestial Kingdom? For me, it is a great sign of the Lord's love and his mercy. Because the minute you canonize Scripture, it becomes binding and you have to do it. Do you know how hard it was? I tell my students this. Do you have any idea how hard it was to do genealogy, family history work before a computer? People didn't do it because it was so hard. And we actually had situations in the Salt Lake Temple where people would go to do an endowment, and because the Temple Bureau Index didn't have any cards, they couldn't go to the temple that day. It was so difficult. But look at the Lord's timing. Here he kind of puts it on the back burner and says, there'll be a time when you can redeem the dead. And then I'm just amazed how many more times they're quoting it. And then in 1976, here we have, okay, we're going to include it.
It's going to become part of our scripture. Yeah, it's canonized in 1976.
Yeah. And it's first, of course, part of the Pearl of Great Price and then the Doctrine and Covenants, which doesn't matter where it goes. But it's interesting that the very next year, the church will send Boyd K. Packer to, I think it's San Diego, for a crash course with IBM about computers. And President Packer he comes home and he goes, that's how we're going to do family history work, the computer. And then, look, 5 years later, you have the IGI, which is the International Genealogical Index, where you can find people, you can find your family on a computer. Mm-hmm. And then look where we are. I can do it from my phone.
We have our family history centers in our pocket now. You can find more names than you're going to have time to work on in the temple right in your pocket.
It is, for me, the Lord's great mercy that he didn't make it binding on us till technology could catch up and we could do it.
Yeah.
And the timing is not happenstance. It's not like President Kimball and Elder McConkie went, well, we're going to do a new set of scriptures, we'll put it in, or President Kimball goes, maybe we'll... No. The timing of the Lord is always at the best time.
Perfect. That's such a beautiful, beautiful perspective, Mary Jane.